This video was brought to you by PCBWay.
In the last episode, my 3D printed engine had a combined run of 4 minutes. Before melting the cylinder body, I'm being left with zero compression. And today we are taking this engine to the next level. Being the engineer but also the mechanic for this engine gives me a unique view. I have nobody to blame but myself. For example, check out the forehead studs. Due to the lack of space, getting the nut installed is always a challenge. Not to mention you cannot fit a socket around that nut, so you also cannot use a torque wrench. That would be one of the many reasons why I decided to give the engine a complete redesign. So today we are saying goodbye to the AP2 Carbon and we are saying hello to the AP3 Carbon D125 LC. So let's get into building this bad boy, starting with the crankcase. As you can tell, we have a lot of new features here, but first of all, let's start with the material. I used the Elegoo Blue SAA printed on the Elegoo Centauri Carbon 2, which is an absolute game changer. Elegoo sent me this unit 3 weeks ago, and it's been printing non-stop 24 hours a day, all sorts of materials, from PA12 Carbon to PETG, to PETG Carbon, to PLA, to ABS, any material, without stopping, no clogs, no nothing. If you want to check out the printer and all the materials I used in this project, make sure you go and check out the description of this video. Once again, a big thank you to Elegoo for sponsoring this video. Back to the crankcase, let's talk about all the new features. First of all, we have a built-in oil pump housing with an inlet that goes inside the crankcase on the most bottom part to ensure a proper oil feed to the pump. Next up, we have the high pressure outlet that's gonna feed high pressure oil inside the main gallery and to all the squirters built in the crankcase, which will ensure proper lubrication to all the moving parts of the engine. Next up, the main oil gallery is gonna transfer the oil inside the oil pressure regulator that uses a ball, a nut and a spring to regulate the oil pressure inside the system. We also have a cap for this system with an O-ring to ensure no leaks happen. After all that, the main gallery continues its way on the other side of the engine, ending with a threaded port where we are gonna place an oil pressure gauge. This gauge will let us monitor real-time oil pressure to see actually how efficient our oil pump is. Talking about the oil pump, let's actually put it together. The pump is using 4 6000 RS bearings. This type of pump is called a gear pump because these two gears are the only internals it has. I chose this type of pump over the gerotor because its simple design makes it more reliable for this build. Anyways, I got the pump installed and everything moves freely. As you can tell, in the cap of the pump we have a seal that's gonna ensure we don't have any major oil leaks. After installing everything, I think it's time for a little test. So I got some 10W40 oil, a gear attachment for my drill, and I think it's time to find out if a 3D printed oil pump is actually gonna work. This is a make or break moment, because without a functional pump there's no reason to finish this build. If this fails, hundreds of hours of design and fabrication just go down the drain. Nothing. Zero oil flow. Wait a second. The drill was turning the wrong way. We have oil. We have oil, guys. We have oil. In fact, the oil pump works so well that even if I turn it by hand, it still gets the oil up the main gallery in a couple of seconds. Just imagine how much pressure it's gonna make at 2-3000 RPM. With the oil pump ready, let's talk about the new positive crankcase ventilation system that's gonna use 2 of these one-way valves, an O-ring to make sure we have no leakage. They are both going inside this 3D printed body that's gonna clamp straight to the crankcase vent. I think these clamps need to be reprinted out of PETG at some point, just because PLA is so brittle, I will most likely won't be able to remove these parts without breaking them. Now that was the easy part of the PCV system. Now it's time to talk about the oil separation system. It uses the exact same clamp and one-way valve, but this one has a completely different job to do. The exhausted air mixed with oil from the crankcase will go through this 3D printed oil separator that, due to the shape of it, will force the air into a vortex, and that's exactly when the centrifugal separation happens. The oil will come out of this bottom hole and it will be returned in the crankcase. With both the intake and the exhaust mounted, this is what our PCV system looks like. The next step would be installing the crankshaft, but first I want to test the alignment of this assembly using a dial indicator. The dial shows us a 0.05mm runout, which is in the service limits of most 125cc production crankshafts. This crankshaft was actually made by PCBWay and it ran in almost all of my engines so far, from a flat 2-cylinder 250cc to 4-stroke 125 to 2-stroke 125, all sorts of engines that I designed and built so far ran with this crankshaft. So if you also have a project that needs to be brought to life, all you need to do is upload your files on the PCBWay website and get an instant quote. Everything from PCB making, CNC machining, milling, 3D printing, and all sorts of other amazing services. So if you wanna support me make more crazy projects like this one, make sure you check out PCBWay using the link in the video description. Once again, a big thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Now let's work on the next step, which is the cylinder. When it comes to the cylinder, one of the most important features of this assembly is going to be the water cooling. In the past I made another try to water cool this engine, but I was unsuccessful due to bad electric water pumps, a bad cooling jacket design. All of these problems led to a lot of leaks inside the combustion chamber and also the crankcase, which led to our oil and water mixing up. And to fix that, this is what I came up with. A multi-part cylinder body. The top part was printed out of carbon fiber reinforced nylon for better heat resistance. It has 4 stud holes and 4 coolant pads, so the coolant can also reach the head. We also have a plug in the cylinder body, which lets us completely fill and air out the system. The actual main cylinder body is printed out of ASA. It has an inlet and an outlet for the water to pass, and also a built-in water pump body. This water pump is running RS 6000 bearings, a carbon fiber reinforced nylon impeller. Inside the cap we have an O-ring and a seal that's hopefully gonna stop any leakage. As you probably already guessed, this is a mechanical water pump, so it is gonna be turned directly by the timing belt. Well, there's one more thing this cylinder body needs, and that's a cylinder sleeve. For that I decided to use the old stainless steel cylinder sleeve because it's still in a good shape, it has no major scratches or marks, and after putting everything back together, this is what I ended up with. So now that we have the cylinder ready, it's time to start working on the head. The first thing we are gonna do, we are gonna turn on the Carvera Air and slap a piece of aluminum inside of it that's gonna be slowly turned into this. The base of our 4-valve dual overhead cam head. As you can tell, we have 2 paths for the coolant to go through to make sure we have a nice and cool head plate. The spark plug hole needed some threads, and I also printed the mid part of the head, which also got improved. I increased the diameter of the intake and exhaust ports by 1mm. We also have the serial number of the engine embossed on the head. All we needed to do next is get some gasket maker and put the 2 parts of the head together. After the gasket maker cured, I lapped each valve bed with its own valve. Now that we have the main parts of the head down, it's time to start working on the valve train. A couple of episodes ago, the engine had this failure. Well, that happened due to a misfire, but a misfire should not break your camshaft in half. And that's exactly why we are upgrading this 10mm camshaft to a camshaft that's almost double the thickness. And of course, with a bigger shaft we are gonna need some bigger bearings, so we are upgrading from the 6000 RS bearings to this new bigger model 6903 RS. And this is what the valve train looks all put together. I also got soft and made some timing marks this time. So the engine is almost ready for testing, we have everything installed, and this thing definitely is bigger than I expected. There's a couple things I need to mention. We have a new head gasket made out of 2 materials. First of all, we have 2 braided copper wires that are sitting straight on the cylinder sleeve, and they are gonna make sure we don't lose any compression. And second part is a mica sheet that can resist to temperature up to 1000 degrees Celsius. Hopefully that will protect our carbon fiber reinforced nylon cylinder body and give us a little bit more runtime. Next up, I installed the silicone water hose connecting between the inlet and the outlet of the cooling system. In the future, I'll have to add a radiator to this system for more efficient cooling. But for now, let's get into testing this bad boy. This was the very first crank. Not bad for a first run, but let's try one more time. Well, the engine definitely sounds healthy and works as it should, but there's one obvious problem. The water pump pulley was supposed to turn at the same speed as the crankshaft. Well, I suspect a bad tensioner, so I designed another one, and we are ready for another session of testing. Okay, so now we have a fully functional water pump. Well, let's give the engine a couple more spins. I think we also have a vacuum leak. I usually apply a coat of epoxy on the intake pipes, but this time I didn't, so that might be the reason why. So there we have it, guys, a fully functional engine. Everything seems to be working fine. We definitely still need a couple of improvements here and there. We are leaking some coolant, we are also leaking some oil through the seals. The engine is still functional, it still has compression, but we are gonna work on some improvements. Once again, a big thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. A big thank you to Lego for sending me this absolute unit of a printer, the Centauri Carbon 2. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.